It always begins the same way, with that sudden, sharp tightening in the calf in the middle of the night, the kind that pulls you straight out of sleep and into a moment of pure shock. I remember an 82-year-old patient of mine, a retired school principal, who told me, "Dr. Lembke, I'd rather face the PTA again than one more of those leg cramps." And she meant it. These cramps weren't just painful, they were stealing her confidence, her sleep, and her sense of control over her own body. But what changed her life wasn't a treatment that came out of a prescription bottle, it was food. Real, simple, powerful food. Because the truth is, our muscles don't tighten out of cruelty, but out of deficiency. They cry out when they don't have the minerals, electrolytes, or hydration they need to keep firing smoothly, especially as we age. And once she began fueling her body with the right nutrients, her nights transformed. She went from wincing in pain to walking every morning at sunrise, telling me, "It feels like my legs finally remembered how to live." So today, we're going on a journey, not through a diet, not through trends, but through 10 foods that have the power to nourish the muscles of seniors from the inside out. Bananas become more than bananas. They're potassium-packed protectors. Spinach turns into a magnesium superhero. Sweet potatoes aren't just sweet. They're cramp-defeating ammunition. When we eat with intention, food becomes medicine, not metaphorically, but biologically. Every mineral we replenish creates smoother electrical activity in the muscles. Every hydration-rich food supports circulation. Every anti-inflammatory nutrient adjusts the pain-pleasure balance so the body stops sending distress signals and returns to equilibrium. Imagine waking up without fear of that tightening shock. Imagine walking with more stability. Imagine your legs remembering the rhythm of youth, not because you turned back time, but because you started, giving your body what it has been quietly begging for. Seniors who add foods like avocados, yogurt, coconut water, salmon, nuts, leafy greens, and citrus fruits begin to notice the difference not in weeks, but in days. Their muscles stop locking up, their sleep deepens, their mobility returns, and their confidence rises. This isn't magic, it's biology aligning with nourishment. We live in a culture that looks for quick fixes, pills, or supplements. But the body doesn't crave shortcuts, it craves support. With every bite of mineral-rich food, you rewrite the way your nervous system functions. You give your muscles permission to relax. You restore the balance between tension and ease. The patient who once feared the night now dances with her grandchildren at family events. And she'll tell you, it started with food. It started when I realized my muscles needed nutrition just as much as my heart and brain. Your legs carry you through the world. They hold you up, propel you forward, and anchor your independence. And they deserve the kind of nourishment that prevents pain before it ever begins. So today, choose to feed your muscles what they need. Because preventing leg cramps isn't about age, it's about giving your body the strength to keep moving, keep living, and keep thriving. The next chapter of comfort and vitality begins with the food on your plate, and your legs are ready for that transformation. It always starts quietly, a little twitch in the calf, a small tightening after a long day. The body doesn't scream first, it whispers, but most of us don't listen until that whisper turns into a jolt that rips us out of sleep. One senior told me it felt like her leg was punishing her, when in truth it was begging for minerals she hadn't been getting. Once she added magnesium-rich greens and potassium-packed fruits, the nightly attacks faded. Her body hadn't betrayed her. It had been calling for help. When we finally listen, the pain stops shouting and starts healing. She once carried 6 pill bottles everywhere she went, convinced they were the only thing keeping the cramps away. But nothing changed until she realized the real medicine wasn't in her purse but in her kitchen. When she replaced salty snacks with bananas, added spinach to her breakfast, and swapped soda for coconut water, her muscles responded almost immediately. The tightness eased, the nighttime shocks faded, and within weeks she felt stronger than she had in years. That transformation reminded me of a truth we forget too easily. Nature's foods aren't just nourishment, they're the pharmacy our bodies were designed to trust. He believed he was too old to change until a nighttime cramp dropped him to the floor and forced him to rethink everything. His daughter reminded him that starting again isn't the same as starting over, so he began adding yogurt, citrus, salmon, and coconut water into his daily routine. Slowly, his muscles loosened, his steps grew steadier, and sleep stopped feeling like a threat. The transformation didn't come from youth returning, it came from nourishment finally arriving. He realized that every bite he chose today shaped the strength he would have tomorrow, and suddenly the future didn't feel so fragile anymore. He used to think change belonged to younger people, until a nighttime cramp jolted him awake and left him gripping the edge of the bed, shaken. His daughter told him gently, "You're not starting over. You're starting again." So he made small but intentional choices, adding potassium-rich fruits, magnesium-loaded greens, and hydration from citrus and coconut water. Within days, his legs felt lighter. Within weeks, the fear of walking disappeared. What gave him strength wasn't turning back the clock, but feeding his muscles what they'd been missing for years. He discovered that every nourishing choice today becomes tomorrow's mobility and freedom. He once told me he felt like a guest in his own body, tiptoeing around every step because he never knew when a cramp would seize his leg. At 91, he feared losing the independence he'd spent a lifetime protecting. But everything shifted when he began fueling himself with simple, powerful foods: avocados, nuts, leafy greens, sweet potatoes. Little by little, his muscles responded, growing steadier and calmer. The day he walked to the park alone, he returned with tears in his eyes and said, "I got my life back. That's the power of nourishment. It doesn't just ease pain, it restores freedom.